Welcome back to the Two Blues podcast. Another live match reaction, another live stream. Chelsea are in the top four securely in that third position, just 1 point behind Man City. Listen, I knew it was going to be a tight game. I predicted one thing today, a tight game. I didn't want to get too overconfident and say we're going to be, battering them, going to be wiping the floor with them. Listen, regardless of who this Chelsea side fields, we should be beating a Leicester team in this day and age, in big 2024. But yeah, I feel like I've been watching that game for 4 or 5 hours. I feel like so much happened, so many different phases, so many things went on. How Leicester didn't go down to 10 men, I do not know. Some of those challenges flying about. When Chelsea were knocking the ball in that first 25 minutes, when that stat popped up on TNT, saying that Leicester did not have one single pass, one single touch in our third, in the final third, in the first 25 minutes. The domination was nuts. And I was thinking this was going to be 4-5-0, but still they kept it close. They kept it tight. They made it difficult for us, even with the quality on the pitch. I think João Felix flourished today in that first 25, 30 minutes particularly. Really operated in those tight spaces very, very well, showed his technical ability, showed what he can do for us, what he can offer us, giving us kind of an extra dimension in that final third to unlock the defense when there are those, teams lower down in the league playing those tight, low blocks that are very, very difficult. And Chelsea notoriously have been poor at breaking down the lower teams. And, when it comes to patience, when it comes to working, eroding them away, we've never been the best at that. But today, it looked like we were going to have that patience. It was going to pay off. Still, a few of the same mistakes, stretching out from the back, not capitalizing on our dominance early on in the game. Like I said, that first 25 minutes, I was thinking we should run away with it. After that, you're thinking Chelsea, there's no reason for us to give up control, give up dominance of this game. But you always know with this Chelsea side, it's going to happen. And more often than not, it comes from Robert Sanchez. I don't want to get too drawn out in Robert Sanchez today because, look, we've come out of today after an international break. I'm gassed to see the Premier League back. I'm gassed to see Chelsea back. We've got the 3 points. We're third. Everyone's happy. Robert Sanchez, man, this guy has given me heart conditions. This guy's going to give me a brain aneurysm, bro. I can't do it. I can't sit through Robert Sanchez performances. I just don't have the stomach for it. I can't. He makes me, you can tell, even the commentators, it's got to the point that the commentators are now saying, oh, Robert's got the ball. You can see no one wants to receive it. You can see they're not happy receiving it from Sanchez. Everybody can see it, but Enzo Maresca, that this guy is a numpty. And obviously, Djordje Petrovic just called up for Serbia in the most recent international break. Fingers crossed. He's having a fantastic season for Strasbourg. Fingers crossed he comes back next year because Robert Sanchez ain't it. But today demonstrated, no Neto, no problem. Even with the, a couple of, Reece James is a big setback. Let's not downplay it. To have Reece James back and fit in this squad is such a boost. He's had a couple of 90 minutes under his belt, a couple of other performances, substitute performances as well. So good to have him back. We finally think we're easing him back into this team. We're getting him right. We're not overloading him. We're not rushing him back. Still seems like we haven't worked out the exact schedule to keep Reece James fit. And I don't know whether it's a him problem, whether it's a club problem. Fingers crossed we can sort it out because at the end of the day, he is a world-class right back. When he's at the top of his game, I don't think there's a better right back in the world, on the planet. So if we can sort that problem, fantastic. But show today, even with, and I was speaking to someone earlier talking about our fullbacks and saying you're pretty weak in your fullback areas. If Gusto doesn't play today, you've got no Gusto, no James. That means no one on the right. You've only really got Cucurella on the left. I know we got Renato Vega. He's kind of a makeshift. He's not an out left back, is he? Because Ben Chilwell isn't in the manager's plans, isn't in the team at the moment. Let's call it how it is. It is Cucurella and Renato Vega, not Cucurella and Chilwell. And I do think fullbacks, we are a little bit light. You look at a situation like today. If we do have a situation like today where Reece James is out and Malo Gusto calls up overnight. If today was against Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, one of the bigger teams, we're scrambling to get a replacement. And I've got to sit here and say congratulations and well played, Benoit Badiashile. Because before the game, I said, look, there were two players that I thought this game was going to be massive for today. Going to be big for João Felix, but today was going to be massive for two players, and that is Benoit Badiashile and Noni Madueke. Noni Madueke had an incredibly mixed bag today because I thought on the whole he was positive. But obviously he had a goal disallowed, not through his fault, through Marc Cucurella being offside. Very, very marginal, but obviously was offside. Can't argue with that. Had a goal disallowed, created some great chances. Probably should have scored in the first half as well, but missed. And then he's denied Cole Palmer the goal. He hasn't really contributed in terms of a goal or assist. You know, I know Noni Madueke is going into that changing room thinking the same as a lot of the rest of us, is struggling with this, is thinking that he should have come out of this with something. Same as Cole Palmer. You saw Cole Palmer. I don't think Cole Palmer touched the ball hardly for the last 30 minutes because he was basically just floating off that back line. He was just thinking, you know what, I'm leaving here today with something, bro. I'm leaving with a goal. I'm leaving with an assist. And he didn't get it in the end. I can't really say no fault for his own because he, could have dropped deeper. I feel like Chelsea as a whole just kind of dropped off. In the second half, the tempo really dropped off. We allowed them to creep in. And obviously the penalties just shows, again, defensive frailties. We're not all there. And it's kind of, look, we can get away with it today. In bigger games, we won't get away with it. And I've said, in a couple of shorts, look, 9 games between now and Christmas. Now there's between now and Christmas. I've said we can win every single one of them. We've won 1 out of 1. Let's win 8 out of 8. The hardest opposition we've got are Aston Villa and Tottenham. If we show the same defensive frailties that we did today against Aston Villa and Tottenham, they will exploit them. They are better teams. They have better players. Jamie Vardy didn't get a sniff today. Leicester hardly had a chance, a clear-cut opportunity. If you look at the proper, full chances that they had today, very, very few and far between. But it's when we let our guard down, let our concentration down. And at the end of the game today, like I say so often on this channel, the Premier League, the football is a game of fine margins. And in the Premier League, I know we say anyone can beat anyone, but there are certain teams, and everyone knows the hierarchy. Look, if you play against the Big Six, if you play against any top half team like you play against Leicester today, they're going to score 3 or 4 goals. They're going to exploit those defensive errors, those defensive insecurities that Wes Fofana particularly have. I think today was a Wes Fofana issue. I think it was more of a mentality, more of a, it came down to him being booed, him going back to Leicester. A couple of, he looked off on the penalty. I personally thought that was a penalty as well. To be fair, before anyone thinks something, I thought it was a clear red card for Ndidi and Sumare, was it as well? Lucky not to get sent off. If João Felix's foot or leg is 2-3 inches lower, that's a straight red card because he's about 2 feet in the air, studs up. I can't believe that didn't get looked at. Or the first chance, the Wilfred Ndidi one, that was horrible. As someone that's struggled and suffered Achilles injuries before, there is very few more painful injuries to suffer than an Achilles injury. And that when they came out on Twitter and said that there was no intensity in that Wilfred Ndidi challenge, what are you on, bro? I've seen war crimes less intense. Like what? Like that was absolutely nuts. And that was, a period of the game where we should have really been capitalizing on their frustration a little bit more, building on our dominance, on our positivity. But that wasn't when we scored, when we were dominating the game. It was, again, when it became more open. And that is Maresca's Chelsea. That is the Chelsea that we are blessed and cursed with, I suppose, at the same time. Is we are a very open team. And while that means we are going to be exciting going forward, we're going to create chances, we're going to be dangerous in the final third, it also means we are going to have to suffer at the back at times. And let's just go back on Badiashile, man. I mean, a player that rubbed out. Two players that I called out or that I singled out for today's performances were Madueke and Badiashile. Badiashile, I thought, excelled. I don't think anybody can have a bad word to say about Benoit Badiashile today. I thought he was superb. Defending, passing, and everything I was saying. I said I did a brief TikTok live to do a preview for the game today. And I was talking about Badiashile in terms of his attributes. There's very few, particularly when he first came to Chelsea, there's very few things that I thought he could not do. Distribution-wise, very good, very good, one-on-one. I think he can play the defensive sweeper role in terms of passing the ball out, dictating play. Fantastic. I also think he's got the pace, the strength, the profile to be able to be that ball carrying centre back to kind of go forward, be aggressive, win the ball, be that duel winner, be that, challenger, allow someone like Levi Gold to sit back. I do think Badiashile has those qualities when he's at the best of his game, but I do, at the same time, I'm not under any illusions. Ever since he kind of came back from that long-term knee injury, he's really struggled to kind of get back up to the speed of things. And today, look, again, he's shown more than enough for me to know that he's part of this squad. I'm by no means, Badiashile sell. I don't think we need to consider getting rid of him at the moment. I think he is a very good player and still has good potential. He's 23 years old. I'm not a 23-year-old. Never. There's no way I can sit here and say that Benoit Badiashile is not good enough to be at Chelsea. He's shown me qualities that I like in a centre-back that I think would be very good and suit this Chelsea side. And today, I feel like he was the best player in that back line. I think Cucurella had a good game. I think one-on-one he was, he pisses me off, man. He's not my kind of player. The going down, the diving, the theatrics, the playing. I don't really like it. But objectively, very good performance defensively, won the majority of his one-on-ones. And I did kind of have a gut feeling, in the preview when they were talking about, James McAtee, first start, 23rd birthday yesterday, I was thinking this guy is guaranteed to score the winning goal today. So fair play to Cucurella for, keeping probably their most dangerous player quiet today and doing another solid job defensively. I think I saw someone on Twitter say that Cucurella was the best left back in the Premier League. I don't know about that just yet. I think there's a way to go. It's a bit of a stretch calling him the best left back in the Premier League. And if he is the best left back in the Premier League is doomed. But look, all jokes aside, solid performance again today and solid performance, throughout this season. I think Cucurella has been, very, very good and has earned his stripes more often than not as that first choice left back. And obviously the fact that he can invert, he's doing very, very well. But the player of the game today, appreciate you joining. I can see Gabriel, Scott, Zappy as well in the chat, I think. Is it Zappy? Yeah, Zappy in the chat. Appreciate everybody. Enzo Fernandez. This Enzo Fernandez redemption arc. Woo! What is it? 6 assists in his last 3 games. And over that, it's just 190 minutes. 2 substituted performances and it was 5 assists or some shit. And he's got another one today. Ever since he split up with his wife and kid, he's been on demon time. Listen, Enzo Fernandez today, people were worried when the team sheet came out, Lavia out, no Gusto as well, and obviously no Neto. Lavia was the one that Enzo Fernandez was the one that I was expecting. I knew he was going to start today, knew he was going to be captain. Lavia was kind of nursing a little bit of an injury. It was a minor injury, a little niggle, but at the same time, I knew Enzo Fernandez was going to start. And he has been playing ever since he's been dropped, really. Ever since that kind of switchover has been happening, there's been that little bit of scrutiny from the fan base as well as the wider media. His performances have just skyrocketed in every single aspect. His work rate, his tenacity, going back, going forward. He looks like he wants to kill someone at any given opportunity. He looks like he's got that dog in him, bro. And he is playing, today, close to prime Lampard, dictating the game. Caicedo, I don't think we can underestimate and understate how good Caicedo is. Another top performance today from Caicedo. The way he breaks up play and gets attacks started, I think is phenomenal. I think it's such an underrated trait for a defensive centre midfielder to give that centre back just an extra layer of not having to worry, an extra layer of protection, just sitting there thinking, you know what, if a ball comes through, if a player starts to run at us, I don't really have to start to back off because I know this guy is going to come in and save me. And Caicedo did so many of those challenges today. And I think he is so good. It's undebatable for me that Caicedo is the best centre midfielder in the Premier League. Rice don't compare. Nobody compares. There's not a single centre midfielder that can chat to Moises Caicedo. But today, Enzo Fernandez, the redemption arc is clear. I am here for it. He's playing like he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's playing like he's playing like he's about to be evicted, bro. Like he's on his last paycheck. Like he needs this money, bro. He does not want to lose this place to Romeo Lavia. And the fact that he's had a fantastic performance today, scored a goal and gotten an assist for Jackson, being that second striker, that pressing force, being that nuisance in the final third, supporting the striker. The fact that he's done that and then Romeo Lavia has come on and given away a penalty can only play into Enzo Fernandez's hands. You know, I know Enzo Maresca probably won't look at trivial things like that, but Enzo Fernandez, man, today, superb, and wasn't even at his best in terms of his distribution, in terms of what we know he can do. His best attributes, he did not demonstrate today. But everything else about him, you know, the hustling, the work rate, tying it together, keeping the team, you know, keeping the tempo up, keeping the team where we needed him to be, getting the momentum back on our side, winning challenges when the momentum was down. I think in and out of possession, Enzo Fernandez was superb today. Undoubtedly the man of the match. And this is what I like about this Chelsea team, is because particularly with young players, they're going to thrive on the criticism. And I know you're going to talk about sometimes maybe fragile egos. Look, in the Premier League, in this day and age, you can't afford to have a fragile ego. Anybody with a social media account knows you're going to get slagged off at some point by some randomer. So you know what? If you're going to be in a Premier League, if you're going to be in this spotlight, you've got to be able to handle it. You've got to be able to give it. If you want to be able to give it, you've got to be able to take it. So Enzo Fernandez has been, for the last month and a half, taking it from every single angle. And he looks like he's turned around and gone, you know what? If this is what it's going to be, there's only one way that I can show you, man. There's only one way that I can shut you, man, up. And it's with performances on the pitch. And that's what he did today. And long may that continue. I have long said Enzo and Caicedo, that midfield could be a double pivot, a midfield duo for a decade, even longer. You look at the longevity of these players, the quality of these two players, superb individuals. Obviously, Romeo Lavia is just an added bonus in that midfield mix. The fact that we can bring him on, the fact that we have another player of his quality, you know, I'd argue he's best pound for pound, our best midfielder this season. But yeah, Enzo Fernandez today, you know, keep putting performances like that, there's no doubt you're going to be back in the first team and an undroppable player. You know, today was more of that Potter Enzo Fernandez, that era where bro was just cooking. Madueke played for Leicester, Gabriel said. Yeah, Leicester should have had 2 pens. I'm not denying it. Not denying it. I said today will be close. Listen, the first pen, I'm letting them get away with it purely because Wilfred and Ndidi should have been sent off. Clear red card. And also, it was one of them where he wasn't getting the ball. It's a foul. I've got to be honest. If that's happening to one of our wingers, that's a foul. That's a penalty. Hands down, I think that's a pen. But it's one of those where whatever the ref says, you're going to go with that. If the ref had called pen, they would have given a pen. The ref didn't call pen. They went with the ref. I think he has initiated contact. I saw another angle where it looks like Fofana might have just wiggled his knee out. I don't know where it's my eyes, whether, I can't really be sure. Look, I think it was a penalty on first watch, but I kind of cancelled that one out, having that first half without a red card. You know, I feel like Wilfred Ndidi was lucky. I feel like Samari or Sakare, whatever his name is, could have got a red card just purely because Ndidi didn't. And also the fact that he was at waist height. I know João Felix jumped, bro, but if João Felix doesn't jump, if João Felix is 2-3 inches lower, that's a broken ankle. That's a ruptured shin. I honestly don't even want to think about the damage that could have been, bro. 6 foot in the air he was. That was, Jesus Christ, that was a war crime. But I can't sit here and deny that we were lucky to get away with the 2-1. I think at the end of the day, we should have capitalized on more. Capitalized on more of that dominance in the first half. Definitely should have scored in the first 25 minutes when we were just robbing them blind. I think it was 77% possession after like 20 minutes. They hadn't had a touch after 25 in our half. Yeah. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more from us. Obviously, Palmer, frustrated today. I think the players will be as frustrated as anybody else, though. I think João Felix, very, very dangerous in the first 20, 25 minutes. I think he started the first half really, really well, but then kind of just drifted out the game. Cole Palmer, seemed like he just didn't really, after that Indeedy challenge, didn't really want to put himself in harm's way. And I can't blame him. He's had a couple of injuries over the last couple of international breaks over the last few months. I do understand him wanting to kind of maybe stay on the periphery when it's a game of that kind of intensity. But yeah, man. Look, number one, it's a testament to Chelsea. We don't need to rely on players like Cole Palmer week in, week out. I know people say that we are, Cole Palmer FC. He's had a couple of weeks now where he hasn't put in a goal and an assist. It's been a couple of weeks where we've had to do it without him essentially. And yeah, obviously, yeah, Madueke robbed him of the goal today. Should have been a Palmer goal. And he will be absolutely fuming at that. But he's just getting back to it. Don't rush him back. We got 8 games now between now and Christmas. So, he's going to get plenty of game time, plenty more goals and assists. I'm not thinking Cole Palmer's going anywhere. Appreciate you joining, Zappy. I'm all good, bro. How you going? Said, I've always said it. We play stronger. When we play stronger teams, then Caicedo needs to play with Lavia. Weaker teams, then Enzo should start. It's simple, basic logic. I don't think it's a case of stronger and weaker. I think it's a case of how the team plays, their style of play, and what the game calls for. I think in games of more space, you're definitely going to want someone like Enzo Fernandez that can exploit that. But, again, today, a game of tight spaces, and he was making those runs, being that midfielder to push the final line, to drag those players out of position and create the space for Jackson in the middle and put the ball in the box. So I think he does. I think he does offer a different dimension, Enzo Fernandez. The different players, Enzo Fernandez and Lavia, and I think they should play for different games. But I don't think, and while I agree with you on that front, I don't think it's stronger teams or weaker teams. I think it's a case of the style of team. But Enzo Fernandez today, you can't doubt, you can't dispute he was man of the match today. Gabriel says that Badiashile was only okay. I thought Badiashile was absolutely sublime today. Sublime might be a little bit of an overstatement, but I thought Badiashile was superb. I don't think. Can you say Badiashile was okay, Gabriel? Can you give me a mistake he made? A single mistake? A single foot he put wrong? A single pass he misplaced? I can't. Not off the top of my head anyway. But yeah, I'm glad people agree with me. It was a horrible challenge. Could have proper done his Achilles. Really? So you would only utilize, right? Zappy. So you're saying when we play stronger teams, then Caicedo needs to play with Lavia. Weaker teams, then Enzo should start. It's simple, basic logic. So by that logic, you're saying Lavia is better than Enzo, but then you're saying Enzo starts every Prem game a start from 3. That's 32 games out of 38 in a season. So you're expecting, you're sitting here and telling me Romeo Lavia is a better player than Enzo Fernandez, but you only want him to play 6 Premier League games a season. Before I comment, I'd like some clarification because I can't lie, my head spun. That's a little bit nuts. He wasn't brilliant. He was decent. Yeah, listen, man, pedantics, bro. No one was brilliant today. We conceded a goal against Leicester. We weren't steadfast. We didn't clean the floor with them. We let them into the game far too much. No one was brilliant today, so except Enzo Fernandez. So yeah, I think he was the best player in the back line. Was there? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was there a better player in the back line than Badiashile today? I personally don't think so, but what do I know? But yeah, good to get the weekend. Listen, man, Chelsea first game on a Saturday. Early kickoff on a Saturday is always techie, and Chelsea first game on a Saturday is always double techie because you're thinking your whole weekend could be ruined. But listen, we've got it out of the way. It's not beautiful, but it's there. We've done it. We've managed it. I'm calm. Let's enjoy the weekend. What is it? Man City Spurs, 5:30. What's the games at 3:00? Arsenal are playing, aren't they? You know, fingers crossed for an Arsenal downfall. What's the games now? Let's have a quick gander. Go on then. Brighton 1-0 up already. Palace 1-0 up against Villa. Better not be Kepa in goal for Brighton, for Bournemouth. Let's have a look. João Pedro. Don't know what's going on here. Shock, it's Kepa. This guy, man, when will he ever keep a clean sheet? Ismail Assar scores for Crystal Palace. It's good news for us. Villa are the one of only two difficult teams on our Christmas run, but yeah. I bet. Well, I better go watch a 3:00 game. Big up everyone that's watching. Gabriel, big up yourself, my guy. Appreciate you. Everyone, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're not already as well. We're nearly at 1,900 subs. We're nearly at 2,000 subs. So come on, guys. Send it to your mate. Send it to all your mates. Send it to your nan's mates. You know, everyone. Next time you go visit your nan at the care home, just go send it. Just be like, yo, Two Blues podcast, man. It will put you to sleep. Just tell her, you know, she wants some white noise. Just put my YouTube channel on in the background. Free watch hours for me. Listen, if you run them up, I might even send you a free little gift. You know, we do giveaways. I was going to say every month, quite often. I need to do another giveaway soon. Let me get that scheduled actually on the Instagram. I've said that now, so it's, you know, legally binding and all that. But anyway, regardless, like, comment, subscribe. Add Two Blues podcast on the Instagram and the TikTok. Big up everyone watching. Scott, Gabriel, Zappi. My guys, appreciate you, man. Join us tomorrow. We'll do a live stream. We'll do a video tomorrow. See you tomorrow.